All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, let's get the music down. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday morning. My name is Sean Murphy. I will be your conversationalist. I will be your guide for today. Turn that off. Today's conversation is, what do you leave in the room? What do you leave in the room? And what I mean by that is we listened to a conversation this morning. And in this conversation this morning, you realize that your energy, you leave a residue. There is something residual about you. There's something that the world needs to hear more of. There's something that the world already loves about you. And that energy hangs out. So my question is, Steve Jobs, I asked him one time when they were talking about branding, right? A lot of us talk about branding. And the branding that we have is what people say about you when you leave the room. That's your brand. So my question to you today is, what do people say about you when you leave the room? You follow me? What are the words that you're saying that goes out into the stratosphere, goes out into the vibratory world, and it literally sits there? There's some people that when they leave the room, it's like a fart. They're gone, but they were there. Other people, it's like, to me, when I hear the Children's Tabernacle Choir sing, that voice, that energy, that freedom, that pureness, there's people that when they leave the room, boy, you still wish they were there. So when we talk about leadership, talking about leadership is the ability to lead people. My mentor would say to me, it's the ability to lead people when you're not there. Do they use your strategies that you've taught them? Do they get into a higher state of story when you're not there? Do they know how to change their state when you're not there? So two things happen. Hey, good morning, everybody on Instagram and YouTube. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So when you leave a room, what leaves? Do people talk about you when you leave the room? Listen, bad publicity, whatever that is, the public awareness. Easy for you to say. Bad words about you are better than no words, I guess, right? They say bad publicity is better than no publicity. And if I say that word publicity 5 more times, I won't know what it's supposed to sound like. My question is that, are you being invited into rooms so that you can leave your essence? You can leave your vibration. You can leave your words. You can leave your conversation. You can leave your fill in the blank. We were watching something this morning about Joe Dispenza when he's talking about these rooms that he's doing, and when he's doing these meditations that he's really dived deep into now. This is the gentleman, if you're not familiar with Joe Dispenza, he's wrote a variety of amazing books. One of the books, the first books that I read, was Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, which is the companion to the first book, which was truly the scientific version. It wasn't the layperson's version. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself kind of toned down the tech, toned down the science, toned down the metaphysical understanding of what happens when you go into meditation, when you activate the pineal gland, and when you start to up level your energy. He was talking about they can measure the energy in the room, right? You can measure the energy in the room. You do that all the time. Guys, if you've done something silly, I won't say stupid, if you've done something silly and you're just waiting on your significant other to come home, you can measure the energy in the room. You don't need scientific data to know the energy is quite pissed offedness. You follow me? So we understand we can measure the energy in the room. See, what happens is that when we start to get into the non-physical world, your leadership, the majority of your leadership, listen carefully, this one might surprise you. The majority of your leadership And I'm not talking 51% of the time. I'm talking about 90, 95% of your time. Your leadership is a vibration. Follow me on this. Hey, good morning, Best Casey. Good to see you. Who is that? Miss Shelley, 33. Thanks for the smile. I think that was a smile or tears. Yes, there you go. Laughter. So here's my question for you. If 95%, let's just use the speaking statistics, public speaking statistics. The words that we use, public speaking wise, right? If you've heard these numbers, what percentage out of 100% of your message, pay attention to this. This is powerful. And it's not because I say it, it's because somebody else much smarter than me said it. Here you go. You ready? If you use words when you speak, just the words when you speak, if you only use the words and you spoke them in a monotone language, words count for 7% of your speech. If I were to speak like this the entire morning and give you great, brilliant conversation and dialogue and information and content at this particular and not changed anything else about my tone and my timbre and my music and the sound. So would it be fair to say that your leadership, the reason that some of you are struggling with your leadership, the reason some of you feel frustrated with your leadership is that you've read all of the books, you've been to all of the seminars, you've done all of the homework, you've done all of the training. It's that your words are 7%. You have the best words. You have, out of the best possible words you could have, you have the 7%. It's the other 93% of your leadership that just, it struggles. It struggles to find its voice. It struggles to find its vibration. It struggles to hear what the other person wants because you're too busy perfecting your words. You can't hear how they listen to you. See, everybody can hear you when you're in the room. When you leave the room, can they still hear you? Are they still listening for you? Does that make sense? Mr. Brad Chambers, good to see you on Instagram. So understand, grasp, gather, find a way. Can you clearly grasp that your leadership is all vibration? Even the words are the vibration that leave this cake hole and enter into those beautiful orifices of hearing and education and understanding and learning called your ears. See, some of you right now in that silence are getting a little nervous. Your leadership is required by universal law. I don't know if there's a universal law. I'm making this up. By universal law made up to give them some silence, some space to find their elegance, some space to find their eloquence, some space to find their energy, some space to find their special sauce, their secret sauce. What's your secret sauce? It's not words. Words add to it. Words are the whipped cream on top, the cherry on top, the hard shell on top, the cherry on top. Your words are just a small part of what it is that you lead with. Some of you, listen, in today's, this is going to get a little tough and maybe it's going to sound, I don't know, sexist. But those of you that have the visual image of a great body, you get more attention. I get more attention because I'm tall. Literally, if I had a competitor running for office, I've already got a 48% chance, higher chance of winning just because of my height. You go back and you watch some of the statistics when they talk about presidential campaigns. Height has something to do with it. Do you stand out? Some of you have great bodies. Some of you have beautiful eyes. And when you put a little bit of the mascara and the makeup on them, man, good Lord, people just can't stop staring at you. Here's the challenge. When you put the makeup on, if it's not your standard, if you're not waking up like a Stepford wife and spending 45 minutes or an hour and 45 minutes every morning getting everything dolled up, when you do that, you break the pattern. And all of a sudden, people are like, dang, Gina. Drop a 1 in the chat if you know what I'm talking about, ladies. And since you're in this two-dimensional world, you can break patterns significantly. Now, here's the thing. Y'all ready for this? You ready for this? Some of you, the ones of you that are dropping a 1 right now, are saying, yes, but I don't want it to be about my eyes. I don't want it to be about my curves. I don't want it to be about my hips. I don't want it to be about my beautiful hair. I don't want it to be about my eyes that are perfectly centered. I don't want it to be about my lips. I don't want it to be about my cute little nose. I don't want it to be about my ears or even. Sorry. It's all about that. Now, here's what happens. Let me give you some statistic in sales. You ready for some sales statistics? I work in the industrial world. I worked in the industrial world for 20 years. I worked in pharmaceuticals, refineries, chemical plants, power plants, wastewater treatment plants, paper mills, paper on the wood side, on the wet wood side, on the dry wood side, on the paper side. Anyways, I worked industrially. And I ran sales teams of about 60 salespeople. Oh, so that's why you're good at sales. I've been in sales since I'm 5 years old. So about 20 years. So here's a statistic in the industrial world. And it's pretty much the same today industrially because we're all in. Anyway, so here we go. A guy and a gal show up at the main gate. I get an appointment. She has an appointment. I go to my appointment. I have about 9 minutes on my first appointment to whether I'm going to be invited back for my second appointment. I've got much longer time. Listen carefully. I have much longer time. Her, on the other hand, she walks into an industrial plant, jeans on, shirt on, hard hat, safety glasses. I don't know what it is. You put a woman in hard hat and safety glasses and guys just lose their mind. Drop a 1 in the chat if you know what I mean. Here's my point. She has only 4 minutes, four minutes on average, 4 minutes to make an impression, 4 minutes to create the connection. I have 8, I have 50%, a 200% longer time. But here's the difference. I only have 2 chances. I get invited back 1 more time to see if I'm really got my head stuck squarely up my tuchus or not. She gets 5 more times. So I get 16 minutes. She gets 20 minutes. Who do you think winds up selling more? Now, she has to put up with all of the oogling and the googling and the goggling and all of that other crap, which I am totally apologetic for. Not sure why we have to, when you show up in a world that's not yours, that people just, they look at everything that other than the reason why you're there. You follow me? Does that make sense? So here's the challenge. You show up in network marketing. You show up in a sales world. That's why women have such a higher percentage chance of success in this profession, is because when a woman finds something that they like about it, they're 85% higher. They have an 85% chance they're going to tell another woman about it. That's why us guys say, man, they're great salespeople. No, they like to talk about things at work, especially if they find something they're passionate about. So here's the challenge, ladies. When you leave the room, follow me on this. When you leave the room of social media, when you leave the room of your live, when you leave the room of your TikTok dance, if you leave the room of your Instagram chat, your Instagram reel, when you leave that room, what are they going to remember when they scroll? Are they going to remember the Shakira, your hips don't lie? Is that what you're doing? Listen, if that's what you have to do and it sucks that you have to do it, you better have your messaging right. Because you have a much better chance of getting attention and getting a like and getting and pausing somebody than I do. Mine's got to be, I got to flick you right between the eyes and your third eye. And I've got, for me, my message, the way I communicate, I have to wake you up. I have to say something so dramatic, so drastic, that it does two things. It pauses you and says, the hell's he talking about? And then the second they ask that question, I better have a damn good answer that they can understand, that doesn't make them belittle, that doesn't should all over them. It doesn't give them a feeling of injected values. So my question again is, if those of you that are on Instagram, if you want to go over and see the background of what it is on YouTube, you can go to the link in my bio, go and click on the YouTube link, and you'll get access to this. And that's where a good recording is of this. So here's my question. What is the essence when you leave the room? When somebody scrolls past your TikTok, when somebody scrolls past your reel, when somebody scrolls past your Instagram story, what is the message? What is the essence? What is the vibration that they left seeing you? Ladies, you can outperform me. You can outdance me. The challenge is what happens when they raise their hand and say, I'm in. The question that I get asked most in the profession is, what do I do when they say yes? The hell have you been preparing for? I didn't think they'd say yes. What are they saying yes to? This conversation powered by Blueberry Acai Ketone. What are they saying yes to? That's what's going to leave the room. They say yes to what's left in the room. Sure, they're saying yes, what's in the room. Sure, they're saying yes, what's in the room. But what they're really saying is what the reason they'll stay is because of how you made them feel after you've left the room. You can raise the energy of, if you're not at home right now, you can raise the energy of your home. See, I'm one of those unconscious incompetents. I don't know what I don't know, but I consciously have become an incompetent. I know that I don't know, but I know that I can do this. I know that I do this when I travel. See, I found out that years ago, about 20 years ago, maybe even longer, 28 years ago, I've listened to a training that said whenever two electrons ever bump into each other, they are forever tied to each other. They will ever rotate. They will forever rotate in the same direction. If one changes, the other's instantly changes. We've done that. We've tested that by sending electrons that were in contact with each other, in vibratory state with each other here on the planet, sent them to the moon and tracked them. And they changed rotation faster than we could measure it. They changed so fast, we couldn't measure the time delay. Listen carefully. We couldn't measure the delay. We didn't have the equipment sophisticated enough to measure the delay between when we changed the rotation of this one and when the one on the moon changed. So let me ask you this question. Everybody you've been in contact with, anybody you think about, anybody you've ever had physical contact with, anybody, ladies, anybody you birthed, Guys, anybody you helped birth, you were there for the 8 seconds that took to help get it started. You are in forever contact with them. So when you leave the room, see, there's a thing that happens in this part of association and connection and relationships, is that once you've ever become in contact with somebody, if they ever run through your thoughts again, you are literally connected to the electrons, the croutons, the protons, the neutrons in their body. That's why you can pick up the phone or call somebody and go, I was just thinking about you. You're connected. See, when you leave the room of an organization, of a community, you are leaving it with the energy of everybody there. Jim Rohn said it best. Jim Rohn said, hey, listen, I hope today that a little bit of me goes with you. Jim Rohn knew this. He said, and I want you to know that a little bit of you goes with me. That happens with that's happening right now. Those of you watching this on YouTube, those of you watching this on Instagram, those in the VIP chat, I'm literally in the room with you. It is mandatory that I show up in a higher state. It is critical to me, to my protocol, that I show up with a smile on my face. Listen, how many of you know how to smile? Tell your face. It might need a reminder. Steve Jobs said, when you leave the room, that, ladies and gentlemen, is your brand. What people say about you when you leave the room. Here's the thing. If you've ever come in contact with somebody, we're going to take it to the celestial. We're going to take it to the energetic. We're going to take it to the metaphysical. You can never leave the room. And that's why it's a challenge to get started again. That's why it's a challenge to move your business forward, because you're being held back into the rooms you're trying to fix. You're being held back into the rooms you're trying to justify your existence. You're being held back into the rooms, literally, physically, energetically, metaphysically. You are being pulled back into the rooms because you're not good enough, because you're not strong enough, because you think, I got to prove to them I'm right. Listen, they're idiots. Meaning, and what I mean by an idiot is they don't know what they don't know. Anybody who doesn't know something, by definition, is an idiot. We have a very bad slang about what we say to people, what we call people. When we say somebody's stupid, we call them an idiot. No, they're not stupid. You've just sucked at being able to explain something well enough for them to gather the information in their own language, called them, well enough that they could understand it. Understand it. And I love how my voice still cracks. This makes sense? So, are you sending idiot vibrations into the world? And listen, some people are prone to be challenging in their learning. That would be me. I barely made it through high school. Drove by a lot of colleges. Here's the tough question. What's the energy you're going to leave in the room today? This is where this isn't about how well you understand your pitch. This isn't how well you can recite, right? J.W. Wilson. Yes, J.W. Wilson, the CEO of the Learning Code Institute, he and I are going to be working on projects of possibly writing the learning code for network marketing. See, there's 6,000 genes that need to be activated to learn something and retain something and memorize something. Once you activate those genes, you can't unlearn something. How many of you remember the how to find the, I don't know, the square root of a triangle? I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't understand that stuff. I remember algebra. I remember the elements of chemistry and physics. I wasn't smart enough to attend the physics class. So I went to the elements of chemistry and physics. But what's the learning code? Do you understand the learning code of how to leave a vibration in a room, how to energetically leave your energy? Here's the challenge. Most of us feel we can't leave our energy in the room because we don't have enough energy to go outside of the room and live our life. Does that make sense? We feel we don't have enough energy. So if I leave some there, it doesn't work. I don't have enough to go out there. If I got to go onto TikTok and Instagram and I got to go give them my energy, I can't. I don't have any energy left. Hello, Peanut. Hello, Fiona. She's got energy. Fiona's got energy. So where do you get your source of energy? Through meditation, through slowing down enough that you can allow the energetic field, which is all around you, which is as close as your skin. When you think about the success and you think your success is forward, there's as much success around you, behind you, on the side. There's as much success 360 degrees below your feet, above your head. See, all of a sudden, if you believe that there's energy in all of those places, how many of you just felt a little charge in your body? You don't always have to take in the energy through your eyes, through your ears. You can just take it in through your back, let the energy flow in through your back. Some of you, when you start thinking about your dreams, your back starts to hurt. When some of you start thinking about your dreams, your head starts to hurt. When some of you start thinking about your dreams, your hips hurt. Why? Because that's where the stored energy that you're trying to hold on to, the stale energy in your body is showing up and it's going, ugh, and it's resisting all of this good energy. So I'll leave you with this. How do you improve the energy you leave in the room? Learn from what my dear friend, Daniela Jukic, gratitudewithdanny.com, D-A-N-I, gratitudewithdanny.com. What she teaches from the book, The Magic, is sprinkle magic dust. Could you imagine if you had a pouch and a never-ending pouch of magic dust and you just literally could sprinkle it in the room? You could throw it ahead of you like the rose petals of the ring girl, the little rose petal girl at a wedding for the bride to walk on. We don't put it down for everybody else to walk on. We put it down for her to walk on. What if you just sprinkled magic dust? What if you imagined you had this hat on and this hat's got a little, it's got this little bar that goes out in the front. And there's this little bag of unlimited magic dust, of joy, of happiness, of peace, of calmness, of security, of energetic understanding. And it just, all it does is snow right in front of you. And all of a sudden you walk into magic every second, every day, every breath. You breathe in the magic. Can some of you feel your body changing right now, just visualizing this? Yes? Drop a Y in the chat if your body's physically upgrading. Understanding that all you're doing is in your mind making life a little bit better. Now imagine what happens when you start to leave the room. Imagine if you threw in hand grenades of love and magic and peace and joy, and kind of like that reel or that TikTok where they take something and they throw it in the room and they hide back behind the corner and they go clear, and then and the dream shows up in the room. It's magically changed. Imagine if you did that every time you walked into a room. Imagine if you threw hand grenades of love, of honor, and respect as far as you could ahead of you. Some of you have a meeting today. Go throw a hand grenade into that joy of love, of peace, of happiness. Go throw this love grenade, this energy grenade, this great outcome grenade. Call it what you want. My joy grenade, my happiness grenade, and you just throw it. You can throw it around the world. Maybe you have a friend who's on the other side of the planet who needs some healing. Go throw a healing grenade that way. Fill it up, love it, love it, love it. And some of you are going, now he's gone around the bend. No, I've not gone around the bend. You just haven't been here yet. You're headed this way. If you're on this call, you're headed around the bend. If you get around the corner, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, amazing things happen. So that's what I'll leave you with. Come up with your hand grenades, your joy grenades. I just wanted to see somebody had typed a long comment in here. Oh, Miss Shelley, thank you. Well, listen, whatever it is, the shift that you're going to start today, whatever shift, Miss Shelley, you're going to start today, know this. I'm throwing some hand grenades, some easy grenades, some joy grenades, some happy grenades, some laughter grenades. There's going to be some things that happen that you're going to say, that had to be from Sean. There's no way that happened without Sean being involved. So I love you for that. I appreciate you for that. And for all of you who are in service of others, which is 99.99999% of you, there's going to be a lot of people who will never say thank you. Not because they didn't want to, they're not tuned into it. They're not keyed into saying thank you. Please hear it from my heart to yours. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You make the world a better place. You make my world a better place. And I get to take all of your joy, all of your happiness, all of your laughter, all of your confusion and confused, all of this, and it flows into my heart. And I get to send it back out of love and joy and happiness and peace, because this is what I love to do. And by the way, I think this says, it's a Sean thing. You wouldn't understand. That's what today is about. It's a Sean thing. You wouldn't understand. That's what the shirt says, if anybody was wondering. All right, Instagram, I love you tons. Thanks for hanging out with me a few extra minutes. I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you for being an amazing soul. And I will see you where? I'll see you at the next event. Till then, bye for now. And YouTube, you guys rock. Rock City. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all where? It's Turkey Week. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I am your head turkey goblin misfit, throwing energy ahead into the universe. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Bye for now.